As swiftly as my carriage could manage, I made my way home to Geneva. The road ceased its wanderings and ran alongside the placid lake as I approached my native town. My beloved country, how do you welcome your wanderer? Does your calm prognosticate peace, or mock my unhappiness?
As I drew nearer home, I saw lightning playing on the summit of Mont Blanc in the most beautiful figures. This noble war in the sky elevated my spirits.
William, dear angel, this is thy funeral, this thy dirge. The merest glimpse of that silhouette was enough to confirm my greatest fears. He was the murderer. I had turned loose into the world a depraved wretch. Before I could give chase, the fiend vanished into the darkness, and I had naught to do but continue my journey home. 6 years had elapsed, passed in a dream, but for one indelible trace, and I stood in the same place where I had last embraced my beloved Elizabeth before my departure for Ingolstadt. Time had imbued her with a loveliness surpassing the beauty of her childish years.
Your arrival, my dear cousin, fills me with hope. You, perhaps, will find some means to justify my poor, guiltless Justine.
She is innocent, my Elizabeth, and that shall be proved. Fear nothing.
Oh, Victor, we have not only lost that lovely, darling boy, but this poor girl, whom I so sincerely love, is to be torn away by even a worse fate, accused as she is of murdering your brother, my poor little William.
Sweet Elizabeth, surely you know me to be innocent.
Without doubt. Who would credit that Justine Moritz, who was so amiable and fond of all our family, could suddenly become so capable of so appalling a crime?
No one did at first, but several circumstances have come out which have almost forced a conviction on me, and my own confusion merely adds to the evidence of facts a weight that leaves no hope for doubt.
Upon entering the prison with Elizabeth, I had retired to a distant corner, where I could conceal my guilty countenance. Anguish and despair had penetrated into the core of my heart. I bore a hell within me which nothing could extinguish.
Why, Victor, you are very kind to visit me. You, I hope, do not believe that I am guilty?
No, Justine, he is convinced of your innocence and will not abide a soul speaking to the contrary.
We passed a few sad hours until 11 o'clock when the trial commenced. Justine Moritz, my family's beloved servant of 7 years, oh pure innocent soul, stood wrongfully accused of murdering William, the youngest of us to bear the now cursed mantle of Frankenstein.
Justine was out the whole of the night on which the murder was committed. She returned to the house about 8 o'clock.
Towards morning, I perceived her not far from the spot where the body of the murdered child was found.
When shown the body, Justine fell into violent hysterics and kept her bed for several days. While tending to her, I found the necklace in her pocket.
You are all mistaken. Only I know the true murderer. Who could attempt to pursue the fiend I have created? It's impossible. One might as well try to overtake the winds or confine a mountain stream with a straw. No, my tale is not one to announce publicly. Its astounding horror would be looked upon as madness by the vulgar masses.
Yes, that is the same necklace which I had placed round William's neck. Justine Moritz was warmly attached to my dear cousin and acted towards him like a most affectionate mother. She had no temptation for such an action. As to the bauble in which the chief proof rests, if she had earnestly desired it, I should have willingly given it to her, so much do I esteem and value her.
The court now calls Justine Moritz to speak in her own defense.
God knows how entirely I am innocent. Concerning the picture, I can give no account. I know how heavily and fatally this one circumstance weighs against me, but I have no power of explaining it. Dear William, dearest blessed child, I shall soon see you again in heaven, where we shall all be happy.
Could the demon who had murdered my brother also in his hellish sport have betrayed the innocent to death? The tortures of the accused did not equal mine. She was sustained by innocence, but the fangs of remorse tear my bosom and would not forgo their hold.
It is my grave duty to pronounce the accused guilty of all charges against her.
I shunned the face of man. Solitude was my only consolation. Deep, dark, death-like solitude. I resolved to ascend to the summit of Mont Blanc. My heart, which before was sorrowful, now swelled with something like joy. Wandering spirits, if indeed ye wander, and do not rest in your narrow beds, allow me this faint happiness, or take me, as your companion, away from the joys of life. Devil, do you dare approach me? Begone, vile insect!
I expected this reception. All men hate the wretched. How, then, must I be hated, who am miserable beyond all living things? Yet you, my creator, detest and spurn me, thy creature to whom thou art bound.
Abhorred monster! Come on, then, that I may extinguish the spark which I so negligently bestowed.
The guilty are allowed by human laws, bloody as they are, to speak in their own defense before they are condemned. My tale is long and strange, and the temperature of this place is not fitting to your fine sensations. Come to my cave upon the mountain.
I followed, feeling for the first time the duties of a creator towards his creature, and that I ought to render him happy before complaining of his wickedness.
If you comply, I will leave you at peace. But if you refuse, I will glut the maw of death until it be satiated with the blood of your remaining friends.